Hi everyone. I just wanted to make another video about what it was like teaching in South Korea because it's been a really long time, and I'm sorry, it's been an extremely long time. In the past I made some videos about what it was like teaching in England, and now I thought there's been a lot of talk about the coronavirus. Being in Asia, I still have some friends who are living in South Korea, so I wanted to discuss a little bit about that. So I'll just take it back to 2017 when my now fiance Matteo and I were living in London, England, and we were both teaching at the same school. That's actually how we met. And I had been teaching at that school for about a year and a half, and Matteo had been teaching there for about 3 years. So we were definitely ready for a change. Well, it was probably me a little more I originally said that I wanted to teach in South Korea and he wanted to join along, which I was very excited about. So once we got there, it was very hot. We lived in a city called Daegu, and they call it Daefrika, which is about 4 hours south of Seoul. And it was quite the journey to get there, but definitely worth it. We were very lucky because when we were looking at different schools, we actually worked at a Hagwon, which, if some of you don't know, is an academy. It's a private school for teaching English, and we weren't sure, like, where do we pick, where do we want to live. Originally we wanted to live actually in a city called Busan, which is right near the water, but it's actually a little bit of a funny story because Matteo had an interview with this school, and I had the interview first and they were all happy. They liked the way I was speaking. They were ready to hire me, but they just had, I said, I'm not going to go by myself. He needs to come with me. So he had an interview and they said his accent was too mild. I mean, he was born in London, and I wasn't really he doesn't have a very strong English accent, but I just found that funny that was the reason why they didn't want him teaching there. So then after that we decided, okay, Daegu was only about 40 minutes on a train ride away from Busan, so if we wanted to go to the seaside, it wasn't too far. So we taught at an academy in Daegu, and we had been speaking to this one of our friends who, at the time, who had just told us about, she was working at the academy. She was like the foreign manager, which was so great for us because at a lot of these Hagwons you speak to the Korean managers, and sometimes you have that miscommunication, but with Katie, she explained everything to us and it was super, super helpful. So we were on board right away. There weren't many reviews. I think we saw like one review online on like Reddit, and it was like, good academy. So we're like, oh yeah, let's do it. No, but it was really with Katie that really persuaded, not persuaded, but we decided, okay, let's do it. Sounds great. Katie's great. So got to our apartment, tiny little apartment. If you are thinking about teaching in South Korea, at any point in the future, keep this in mind. The bathrooms are, not all, but ours was quite small, and also the shower head is like a removable shower head, so it's not like what it would be, I live in Canada, but over here in North America, generally you have, the toilet, you have a separate area for the shower. No. In Korea, they have the shower head and it's sprayed all over the bathroom. And we didn't have any windows in our bathroom either, so that was a little annoying. No, we did not live in a jail cell, but it was very small. Our kitchen was very small, but we made it work. We'd only been together for 6 months at that time, and it was funny because people asked us, wait, how long have you been together? 6 months? They're like, and you're living together in a totally different country? Yep. Well, it worked out because now we're engaged and we're getting married this summer, but it was a really, a lot of people think, oh my God, wasn't this a huge culture, like a huge change for you culturally with the languages, with everything? It really didn't feel like, of course the language and the culture were different, but because we lived, well, didn't live, we worked with other people who were from like the UK, from Canada, from the States, we generally would hang out with them a lot. So we really, some of the people that we worked with had already been living in Korea for like 10 plus years. So they helped us a little bit with the language, going out for food, most important, to learn. If you're thinking about ever teaching in Korea, really get that survival Korean down, because to order food in Korea is the most important. Another little funny story, I remember one time we ordered a pizza and there was something happened, and I think we thought maybe it was canceled, or they didn't know where we lived. Anyway, we called them up, and at this point we really didn't know much Korean. I mean, even at the end it wasn't great, but we called them up and I had my Google Translate on my laptop, so I put on Google Translate to say where we lived or something. It was just, oh man, that was so funny. We just were dying of laughter, because I mean, that conversation went nowhere, and I don't know if we ended up with that pizza. But yeah, the school that we worked at, we taught all different grade levels, and sorry about that, my camera died and I had to figure that out. So anyway, what I was saying is that, yeah, I taught all different grades at this private school, and the only thing that was a little strange is that I worked from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. and a lot of people looked at me like, what? How did they go to school from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.? Well, I'll tell you, because it's an academy and it's an after-school English program, many of the students who would go to this academy would go after school. So it's like, if any of you have extracurriculars, think of it like that, you would do it after. So yes, it was from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. and I was eating dinner at about midnight and going to bed at sometimes when the sun came up. So it was a little crazy, but remember, not every school is like that. That was another factor. Money, it was great. We were making, you know, close to a little over $2,000 a month. Well, I'm converting this to Canadian dollars. We were not paying for our rent. This is something very common. If you are working at an academy, most likely they will pay for your rent, or at least give you an allowance if you want to choose a different place to live for the apartment. So that was incredible. We were traveling, we went everywhere. We saved up a lot of money so we could do many travels around Asia, but we even went to North Korea. Well, we didn't go like inside for a while, but we just went to the DMZ, so that's the border between South Korea and North Korea, which was, that kind of blew my mind. Yeah, the travel was great. We went to the Olympics at that time, and that was very cool. So that was the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. We saw luge and snowboarding. Wow, that was wild. That was really, really cool. Went with some people, well, our friends from work, and another crazy incident that happened, well, not incident, but something crazy that happened was we saw Kim Jong-un's sister in one of the train stations passing through. And it made us think, why would she be walking through a train station? Wouldn't someone drive her? But we saw Kim Jong-un's sister, and Mateo actually got some footage of it, and a news company contacted him and asked him if they could use the footage. So that was insane, totally insane. But all in all, the food was great, the people were awesome. We had an amazing experience teaching there. I know some of you are probably like, oh, I wouldn't go anywhere near there now because of coronavirus. Well, we do have some friends who are living there, and they said, of course, you need to take precaution like anywhere else, but our friend specifically told us that he's just being careful, and they had a week off because when things were really bad where they were living in terms of the coronavirus, they just had them teach their their students over the phone, so that must have been a very interesting experience. He actually told me that he would say, look at number 1, silence, number 1, silence, and they went back and forth for about 10 minutes. So I mean, I think that will die down sooner or later, but of course that is something that people are very concerned about. But again, I just wanted to share our experience and what it was like, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who have had not so great experiences in terms of the school. But what I can say is go with your intuition. If it feels like it's sketchy, it probably is. For us, we had a good vibe. There was a foreigner, a manager. We could speak with her, ask her all of our questions. We knew where we were going to live, where the school was located, what was close by. Yeah, Daegu was it was a great city. It's the 3rd biggest city in South Korea, and it was really easy to hop on the train. We went to Seoul, we went to a lot of different cities, and even in terms of taking flights, I remember one time we had about 4-day holiday and we went to Tokyo. Like, that is pretty awesome. And of course, at the end of our contract, once that was finished, we're like, yeah, let's do some travel. So we traveled all over Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Bali. It was beyond amazing. So we did some travels for about 3 months in Southeast Asia. And yeah, that was that's just like a little overview of the experience. I'll leave it at that for now. That's just a little overview of everything that what it was like, a little snippet. And if you have more questions about the experience, if you want me to make more videos or to touch upon something specifically, let me know in the comments below. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry that it has taken me so long. Next time I definitely want to do this more consistently, because I actually really do enjoy making these videos, and it's really awesome if I could help someone out along with the process. So anyway, thanks, see you next time, bye.